Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. Welcome back to Closing Time with Dr. Yeti. It is your favorite real estate agent, Dr. Yeti, and I am back with yet another market update. How is ATL real estate market doing today? It's very interesting. It's been a very interesting market. The past couple of days has been interesting. So one of the things that I like to do is I look at the stock market almost every day. I'm very active on the stock market. And so I see how the stock market is affected with the news, and I see how that also affects the real estate market. So I'm going to be talking about the stock market. I'm going to be talking about the real estate market. I'm going to be talking about news, policies, all of these things, because I truly believe that it's going to affect all things real estate, buying, selling, investing, saving. Even when you currently own, how are you affected with the current state of the economy? So that's what I'm going to be talking about and focusing on today. Okay, so hi, Excited DJ. Thanks for joining. So I'm going to start off with how the Atlanta market is looking right now. I'm going to tell you, things are shifting. For the past couple of months, it's been very stagnant, meaning that it's not really a buyer's or seller's market. The prices are stable and the interest rates are kind of high and going up. Just call me James. Okay, James. Yes. Hi, thanks for joining. Hi, James. And so the interest rates are, kind of high, but it's not too crazy. Well, interest rates are like 7% right now, kind of stabilizing around. With the mortgage interest rates are kind of stable at around 7%. But I want to talk about the Atlanta market because it's very interesting, the shifts that are happening. Okay, so let's talk about the active days on market. Okay, so on average, or the median house, it's a wait and see market now. Honestly, we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see. So basically, in January, because we're on the 30th, today's the 31st of January. In all of January, the houses have been on the market in the city of Atlanta for 87 days. 87 days. This is an all-time high. In the last 2 years, this is the highest level of total days of market we have seen in the city of Atlanta. So the houses have been on the market for a lot longer. And typically what happens when houses on the market longer, the sellers want to sell. They want to sell. And so what happens? The prices start to go down. So how many closings did we get in January? So in January, we got 472 closings. In January, 472 closings, which is the lowest it has been in the last 2 years. Okay, so we not only do we have days on the market longer, we have less closings as well. So that's something that we definitely need to keep in mind. And then listings, the new listings, the new homes that got on the market is 1,794. So 1,794 homes got on the market. This is like summertime numbers, like summertime, like April. That's when you start seeing houses go on the market more. It's January and houses are going on the market already. And this is only the beginning. It is only the beginning. It typically tends to go up from January to like the summertime, and then it starts to dwindle down again towards the winter. So if in January it's already at 1,700 homes on the market, I'm very curious to see how it is going to be in the next couple of months throughout the rest of the year. So it's looking pretty tough. So I talked about a couple of lives ago when I talked about how in October 2024, they dropped interest rates, right? And so you would think that when the feds drop interest rates, the mortgage interest rates will go down as well. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. As soon as the interest rates dropped, the Fed interest rate dropped, the mortgage interest rate started going up. Prior to that, it was going down. Then after that, mortgage interest rates started going up. Well, the data that I pulled today, right, because I didn't even look at the home prices when that happened. home prices started going down in October 2024, and it was down 0.26% in January alone. So since the beginning of the year, matter of fact, actually, let me pull up the data right now. Since October, I would say since November, I'm going to start with November because that's a quarter, the home prices went down 61%, or not 61%, 0.61%. And typically home prices have been going up. If we're looking at the last year alone overall, the home prices went up by 2%. 2%. So if the home prices are going down, what does that signify? Home prices are going down, interest rates are going up, there are new listings on the market. This is showing a shift in the market, which means that it is now a buyer's market. Okay, it looks like we are gearing towards a buyer's market. And if we are gearing towards a buyer's market, that means that the sellers are going to be willing to negotiate on home prices. You know, you as a buyer, you have the leverage. Now, you have the leverage given you are willing to purchase a house with this current interest rates. Now, I have talked about it before where just because you're pre-approved for $500,000 does not mean you need to buy a $500,000 house. If you're pre-approved for $500,000, I would say look for a house $250,000 or less, maybe $270,000, maybe max $300,000. But I would not look for a $300,000 house. If you're pre-qualified for $500,000 or you're qualified for $500,000, I would focus on purchasing properties that cost less. And when they cost less, you will be paying less. And when you do refinance, you will be paying even less. And at that point, you can choose to refinance, sell the house and buy another one, whatever you want to do. But if you are financially able to purchase a home right now, I would highly suggest that you purchase a home that is way below your maximum pre-approval level. Okay, because all my clients, anyone that works with me knows I always tell I'm not really interested. Like, yeah, the commission is great. However, I'm thinking about the long run. If I were in my client's shoes, how would I feel if I purchased a home that was worth $500,000 and the economy is looking funny, right? So I'm going to talk about the economy in a little bit because the economy is looking a little bit shaky. Okay, it is looking a little bit shaky. So now we already know that it's moving towards a buyer's market, or potentially already is in a buyer's market because home prices are going down already. If home prices are going down, just know that the buyers are going to have a more of a leverage in purchasing homes now. So let's talk about the S&P 500 really quickly, and gold. So the S&P 500, I look at the S&P 500 like clockwork. I didn't look at it this past week because I'm not going to lie. It was on a, it was just, I didn't do that great. Let's just say that. Okay. So I was not too happy with the market. However, I will say this, the S&P 500 this month made an all-time high. As a matter of fact, let me look at the data. The S&P 500 this week made an all-time high. Let me make sure I'm speaking the right facts. See, now all of a sudden it wants to. Okay. Yes, so this week, the S&P 500, actually, no, it was last week. Last week, the S&P 500 made an all-time high. This week, it was close to getting to that all-time high, but it's still pretty up there, okay? So it went down on Monday, and then it started going back up, reaching that all-time high yesterday, and then, not yesterday, last week, and then it's now kind of down, but it's still pretty high. Right now, S&P 500 is at $601.82. Why is that important? Why is the S&P 500 important? So the S&P 500 kind of is a pool of 500 of the top producing companies in the United States. And so if the companies are doing well, then you know that the economy in the US is, there's something going on in the market where the economy is doing decently, right? It doesn't necessarily show you 100% of what is happening in the economy, but it's a good picture of seeing how the businesses in the United States are doing in terms of like how the economy is doing. Now, if you're talking about gold made an all-time high today. Gold made an all-time high today. And why is that important? Well, a lot of countries, a lot of central banks are actually purchasing gold, especially China. China's central bank has been purchasing gold this past week, and they have been putting in a lot of money in gold, including Poland. Poland was the biggest buyer of gold the past couple of months. So I will say that it's very important to look at gold as well, because one, if you want to invest in gold right now, I wouldn't buy gold at an all-time high, but it seems like gold is going to keep going up because the central banks are purchasing gold right now. However, if we're talking about gold, let's talk about digital gold, okay? As Trump would call it, digital gold. So Trump called Bitcoin digital gold. Why is that important? Well, as you can see actually, before I even talk about digital gold, before I even delve into digital gold, let us talk about the federal FOMC meeting. And so Jerome Powell, who is the chair of the Federal Reserve, he spoke on the 29th, right? There was a FOMC meeting and he spoke on the 29th talking about how the economy is doing, the state of the economy, and if he's going to drop interest rates and things of that nature. Now, before I delve into interest rates, I want you to understand interest rates tend to drop when the economy is not doing well. The interest rates start to go up when it is when the economy is doing well, because increasing interest rates will kind of slow down spending a little bit, but decreasing interest rates will increase spending, right? And so it's been very interesting to see where a regular person who is living the regular life could clearly tell you that the economy is not the best, right? There's inflation, right? Things are more expensive, taxes are higher, and things are just living is a lot more expensive. And so Jerome Powell made a couple of statements, and I wanted to just give some comments about them. So Jerome Powell says that unemployment rate has stabilized and is at a low level in the last recent months. Well, I can tell you right now that's not true. That is not true. And honestly, I don't know why the feds are saying these things and they're like lying to the public, because if we look at the past couple of months alone, Starbucks, Albertsons, Facebook, they had layoffs. Thousands of people got laid off, right? I want to say even was it UPS or USPS even laid off people as well, right? Boeing did layoffs after all those people protested, right? And they came back to work and they got laid off, right? So there were layoffs, like multiple layoffs in the past couple of months. Now, Amazon, Texaco, Amazon and Texaco, they announced that they were planning on doing layoffs. So if there are all these layoffs, and we're talking about big major companies, what about the smaller companies? If the big major companies are doing layoffs, I'm pretty sure the smaller companies are doing layoffs as well. And if these layoffs are happening, how then can the Federal Reserve, aka Jerome Powell, make a statement that unemployment rate has stabilized and is at a low level in the past couple of months? That is kind of disingenuous if you ask me, but then again, if you're not in the, you know what, I'm going to leave it alone. But yes, that's not a fact. But you can tell me, let me know in the comments, like, what your thoughts are. Do you really believe that the unemployment level is at a low level and it's stabilized? Or do you really believe it's going up, unemployment level. He also mentioned that the labor market remains solid, which I just mentioned. The labor market is not solid, right? It's not. It's very shaky, actually. There are a lot of tech layoffs. Think about it. You had these engineers, computer engineers, coding and developing these AI products just to be replaced by the same products that they were creating. So it's very interesting to see how there are so much layoffs in the tech space, right? Another layoff that I know is going to, even let's not forget that Tesla even did layoffs the past couple of months. Another layoff that I know is going to happen. So Trump is talking about doing he wants all the remote federal workers that are working remote to come back into office, right? And so all the positions that are currently remote, he is reaching out to these people who are having remote positions and telling them, hey, I will give you 7 months and 24 days of severance pay if you give up your position. If you just quit, we'll give you 7 months of severance pay. But if you remain at this position, we cannot guarantee you that this position will be in place. Meaning, federal workers have this feeling of job security. Once you get a federal position, you really can't get fired, which, yes, I've been a federal worker before. So it typically does tend to be not challenging, but harder to fire a federal worker. So a lot of times the people that do get fired are like contractors and stuff like that. But if you are a federal employee, it's not that simple to just get fired, right? So these federal employees are basically, they're telling them, hey, listen, you can either take this severance pay, which is 7 months. Now, how typical when you get a severance pay is maximum that I've ever seen, maybe 2 months, 3 months. Even during COVID, I want to say that severance pay went up to like 5-6 months. He is saying this is not COVID. This is not anything big. This is just a regular, listen, I want you back in office. I need you to get rid of this job. And if you don't accept this severance pay, we cannot guarantee you, okay, that this position will still remain, because they can't really fire you, but they can let go of that position. And if they let go of that position, then what use do they have of you, right? And so the email that they sent to these people, to these federal workers, the subject of it was a fork in the road. This is very interesting, because when Elon Musk was laying off his Tesla employees, the email that was sent out was a fork in the road, and they had a choice to make. It's either you take the severance pay or you get laid off. And guess what? A lot of those people, if not all of those people that did not accept that severance pay got laid off. And then when they got laid off, they tried to sue him, and he won the case. So I say all of this to say, if you are a federal worker, okay, and they did send you this email, because you have about 5 to 6 days to make a decision, right? So they didn't give you like a month, 10 months to make a decision. You have 5 to 6 days to make a decision. Make that decision. Make that choice, okay? Do some research and see the fork in the road, and see, does it make sense for me to just get 7 months severance pay? I don't have to work, and I'm going to get paid. Okay, and in that 7 months, you can use that time to find another job, maybe invest in something that will give you a high return, something, right? While you are waiting for another job or something like that. Use that 7 months productively, right? Or don't take the severance pay and potentially risk losing your job. That's your decision to make, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just letting you know that that's what happened with Tesla employees, and it's looking like something similar is about to happen, okay? So another thing that I want to bring up is that the Feds are letting go of their treasury reserves, or their treasury securities. And so what happens when the Feds release their treasuries? So treasury bonds are basically debt. And so what happens is the Federal Reserve would buy up the debt and release money into the market. Well, if they sell their debt, the US debt, there's less money in circulation. What happens when there's less money in circulation? Things become more expensive. Interest rates go up. Loans become more expensive, and so that's where you get more inflation. But as of right now, Jerome Powell makes a statement that they don't plan on increasing or cutting interest rates, and it's going to be in the stable 4.25 to 4.5%. Federal interest rate. So we will see how that goes. Now, let's talk about Trump's financial policies. Okay, so in terms of real estate and how is real estate affected by this? So Trump decided, or he made a plan to freeze federal funding, right? A judge actually did freeze that freeze. So basically, it is not active as of now. It was supposed to be active, I want to say this week, but it was frozen until further notice. So Trump wanted to freeze federal funding. And by freezing federal funding, that is going to affect the housing market. That's going to affect funding for Section 8 housing. I don't want to call it Section 8, but housing authority. So those were the vouchers, the housing vouchers. Is going to affect funding for building low income properties for those people who are homeless, for people who are voucher participants. It's going to decrease the building of homes because of federal funding. A lot of businesses and nonprofits, they do tend to get funding from the government to do building projects. And if there are less buildings, less properties on the market, what does that mean? That means that there is going to be less supply. And when there's less supply, there's more demand. When there's more demand and less supply, the prices of homes might start going up. So even with the prices going down, the things that are happening with the market in terms of freezing federal funds, that might cause an increase in prices of homes, but we will have to wait and see on that. Another thing is the tariffs, right? So one of the things that some people are trying to push this bill of removing property taxes altogether. Currently, it's in I want to say Supreme Court, or maybe it's in Texas somewhere. A judge in Texas is dealing with that. But basically, they're trying to remove property taxes. But taxes are going to always be there. I know Trump is saying that he wants to reduce taxes, reduce interest rates, and increase tariffs. So where there's no taxes, where you're not paying taxes, you are going to pay an increased cost of goods. Because what happens with tariffs is what is a tariff? So basically, when goods are being imported into the United States, they're getting taxed. But Trump wants to increase the taxes of these goods to between 15 to 20%. And he actually wants to start tomorrow, February 1st. He wants to start tomorrow with the tariffs for Canada and Mexico. But there are rumors that it's going to be moved to March 1st. But it might actually just start tomorrow. So we would just have to wait and see. But essentially what is happening is with the tariffs, Trump is saying that Canada and Mexico are going to have to start paying the cost of importing goods to the United States. But the thing is, yes, they may have to pay those taxes, but the cost of those taxes are going to be put on the consumers. So whatever is being imported into the United States, maybe avocados, corn, whatever, avocados could be $6 per pound. I'm just making up an arbitrary number, so please I don't really know how much avocados are. I love avocados. I buy them all the time, but I cannot remember the price of avocados. But let's say you're buying one avocado for $1. Well, if the tariffs do go through, you're going to be paying $2 for an avocado, $5 for one avocado, because these are imported goods. They were taxed when they came into the market, and now you have to offset those costs. They want to offset those costs, and they're going to offset those costs by charging you, the consumer. Okay, so anyway, I think that's all of it for what I want to talk about in terms of the economy, in terms of the real estate market. I just want you to know, if you are ready to buy a house financially, like you have saved money, and your credit score is good. As a real estate agent, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but there are two things you can do right now. Right now, the homes in the market, the homes have been on the market for way longer than it has ever been in the last 2 years in the city of Atlanta. Okay, so you as a buyer, you have leverage on that aspect. Now, when interest rates are going to go down, I can't tell you. We will never know, because as you can see, the feds are saying one thing and the real world is saying another thing. So we may never know when interest rates are going to go down. However, if you choose to buy a house and you decide that you want to buy a house, it is highly suggested that you buy a house that you can afford with the current interest rates as we speak. So with the interest rates being 6.9% or 6.89%, whatever the interest rate is right now, can you afford a $500,000 house with the current interest rates right now? Think about today. Think about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Another thing you have to think about is when you purchase a property. When you purchase a property, do not purchase a property if you want to keep and remain having the same interest rates. One moment. So if you want to keep having the same interest rates on your, not interest rates, I'm so sorry. If you want to keep having the same mortgage payment on your property, it is highly suggested that you purchase a property in an area that the properties are not appreciating in value rapidly. Because, for example, if you are purchasing a home in Fulton County, if you purchase a home in Fulton County or anything with Atlanta in it, the property value is going to go up. That's a great thing if you want to build equity. It's not a so great thing. It's not a great thing if you want to save money on mortgage payments, because your property taxes will go up, right? So if you're looking for properties in the Atlanta area, looking for a property in the West End, for example, is not a wise choice if you want to keep your mortgage payments stable. Okay, buying a property in the West End, they are cheaper. The value of the property will go up. You will build equity significantly. However, the property taxes will go up on you, and your mortgage payments you will be paying $1,300 one month, and then the next month you're paying $1,600. Okay, so that's something you need to keep in mind. Okay, another thing that you want to keep. So going back to what I was saying, if you want to buy a house right now with the current interest rates, what can you afford? Can you afford a property that's $500,000? If the answer is no, think about it in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, can you afford a $500,000 a house if the mortgage payment goes up by $100, $200, $500, $600? I've seen it, okay? I have seen a $600 mortgage increase before. So I'm saying all this to say, can you afford that? If the answer is no, I would consider purchasing a home that is half the price. And if you want a size, a home size or a look or whatever that you want, you might have to compromise on location. You might have to compromise on certain aspects of the home. Okay, so those are the tips I can give you. You have to be strategic when you purchase these homes. Okay, that's something that I wish I knew before I purchased my home, which was being strategic about monthly payments, being strategic about location of the house, right? Yes, you want equity to grow, but if equity grows, just know that your monthly payments will go up as well because of property taxes. Okay, so I hope this was valuable information for you guys, and I hope that this this will help you in deciding whether or not it's time for you to purchase a home or not. But like I said, this is a good time to negotiate. As a buyer, it's a great time to negotiate. As a seller, you just got to keep your head up and just hold on to them, hold on to the market. I was able to sell a house with the market being the way it is, and it took about 70 plus days to get that house sold for the exact price and terms that my clients were looking for. So it is possible. You just might have to wait a little bit longer to get that home sold. So those people that are selling their homes for sale by owner, you might have to consider certain things because of that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate you sticking through to the end. I love you and have a great day. Bye.